Hey YouTube, Longways Post 1975. Welcome to another You Hum It and I'll play it. Now, just a sort of quick announcement right at the start of this video. After this video, I'm going to be doing one of these once a week and once a week only. I kind of did the initial sort of flurry of videos just to kind of get it established, see if people are interested in this, you know, having a platform where different members of the community, and not just the gaming community, could, you know, tell us about a game that meant a lot to them from their childhood. And it won't necessarily always be retro games, you know. Hear a story about why they loved it and why they would like someone else to play it. So you get to discover a game that you knew nothing about and you could play, and you also get to discover a channel that you knew nothing about. You know, so that's why I kind of did it. But after this, I'm going to take my foot off the gas, or off the petrol I should say, for I am after all English, and just going to once a week. But the initial response has been absolutely fantastic. I've been utterly blown away. A lot of people are interested, sent me PMs asking if they can be involved in that, and that's great because that's what this series of videos is about. So anyway, I'm waffling. Let's get into the request for this video. The request this time comes from my mate Pete from Snestastic. Pretty sure you know who Snestastic is, but he's in my friend list, and I will put a link to his channel in the doohickey down below. Please go and check him out. Now, the reason I like Snestastic, and you're going to hear this word a lot in this series of videos, as I've already said a couple of times, community, but that's what it's about. So if you don't, you know, want to hear it, you might be watching the wrong series of videos. But yeah, the reason I like Pete is he's very, very community driven. I first became aware of him through another great channel I've already done a video on, Alex Blue Tonic 78. They're very sort of similar in the way that they do partake in a lot of community driven things, and that's one of my favourite things of any channel. Now, when I was sort of a fledgling channel with a few subs under my belt or whatever, I discovered Pete through Alex, and he's one of those great channels that likes to support the little guy. He mentioned me a lot in his videos. He put me in his channel list, and that's one thing I do really like about Pete. We all have channel lists, and quite a lot of people rotate them. I do, but I'm a little bit guilty of not doing it as often as I should. But Pete properly rotates his channel list. He put me on there for a bit, and he definitely got me, you know, a good amount of attentions. So he takes these channels, you know, that he sees that, you know, coming up through the ranks that people may not necessarily know about, and he uses the fact that he's got, you know, a decent amount of subs and people like him to get them attention. And I've always thought that was an absolutely brilliant thing. Now, also, he's one of those guys that has a great personality. Personality over content has always worked for me, but when you have content as well, it's a slice of fried gold. And Pete's got so many great series. His pickup videos are absolutely fantastic. I mean, the guy could pick up a bunch of marbles he found in his attic, and yet I would still feel compelled to watch it. He's got his SNES pickup videos where he specifically goes after SNES games. He's got some of my favourite gameplay videos on YouTube. You know, come play with me. It's just the all-round bag of awesome YouTube channel, you know. So please go and check him out. Anyway, the game he wants me to play is this.
Alright Dave, so yeah, you want me to do a request for your Hum It and Play It videos. Really great series I'm enjoying at the moment. First couple have been absolutely spot on. Just watched Mark Bahir's Super LS request, which was a quality game. Really cool shooter. Like yourself, I'm more of a horizontal shooter fan than I'm a vertical shooter fan, but yeah, that game looks absolute quality. So yeah, just wanted to drop by, say hello, and let everybody know what a great channel you got. And you know, I really like these videos, Dave. They're coming along great, mate. And I've got a game I want to suggest for you to give a try. And you know, being me, it's got to be from the Super Nintendo collection. It's got to be from the best system ever. And I know recently you did tell me that you'd never played this game, so I'm really interested to see what you think of it. And it's going to be the original Starfox game. This game just means so much to me. When I first saw it in my friend's house back when I was young, I was just absolutely blown away. The graphics just ridiculous. I mean, to actually see it running on a Super Nintendo at that time was like, how is that possible? And you know, to this day I still play the game regularly. Absolutely love it to bits. I'm still finding things out about the game I never knew. It's just an absolute masterpiece. The music is iconic, the characters are fantastic, the gameplay is solid, the controls are good, not perfect, I'll give it that, because the aiming's still a bit wonky, but yeah, it's a brilliant game. I'm just really interested to see what you think of it, and I'm looking forward to watching your gameplay, mate. So yeah, that's what I want to see, some Starfox action. And I'm looking a bit Max Payne, still in the mode. Got the old shirt, the hair, the beard, you know. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think, Dave.
Oh, I know we were talking about this the other day. I so knew you were gonna go with that. It's interesting because I have never played it. I have been exposed to it because it's one of those games that fell into that weird point in my life where I didn't have any systems for a year. Yeah, there was a point where I had no game systems, and this was one of the titles. My brother had his own sort of, you know, UK SNES, and he had a Super Wildcard, and he had this game, and I remember sitting and watching it as he played it and being, you know, impressed because it was something we'd never seen before on the original hardware. Alright, so at the Super Effects chip, or I think it's a co-processor, isn't it? But it's one of those things that when you never sort of get involved, well, it looks nice and shiny in front of you, but you don't truly appreciate it unless you sort of engage it. So that's a little sad that that experience kind of shot over my head. Now, what's interesting is Starfox, just a boring random fact for anyone outside of the United Kingdom, Starfox was called Starwing in the United Kingdom because there was a previous game made by Reactor Software on the 8-bit systems, the Spectrum, the Commodore, the Amstrad, that was already called Starfox. I had it on the Spectrum. It was a space shooter, sort of first person, mediocre at best, but obviously they bagged the title. Obviously eventually it would come full circle and they got the name back, although I think subsequent games in the series were called Lilac Wars based on the system you fought in. Anyway, I'm waffling, but yeah, never got to experience it back in the day, so let's rectify that. But just for, you know, sort of a little bit of fun, I thought I'd do this with the competition edition, which I'm pretty sure is some sort of North American thing, you know, when you get competition cards that people would play in a sort of rental joints. I don't know, I could be wrong. Anyone from North America, please feel free to correct me at the link down below. Let's check this bad boy out. Right, I remember that noise. Alright, so controls. I'm doing the classic controller because I feel it most sort of resembles the SNES pad. Boost, Nova, brake, blaster, up, down, change view. Oh, come on, I'm not done. I didn't press start. That's because it's competition. Right, I'll tell you what, while I only ever viewed it and never played it back in the day, that is an iconic screen. Nice. Right, I tell you what, not just this. Oop, fire. Oh, Nova Bomb, that's waste. Brake. Won't be needing that because I'm a bloke. Thrust. All cheeky. Try not to hit the floor. Yeah, I never liked the sort of Nintendo way of doing things with this and sort of Zelda, you know, where they want the sort of no sort of real speech, sort of this kind of thing, so you sounded like Twiggy from Buck Rogers. I don't know. Oh shit, can't talk and play. Ooh, cheeky. I get the limitations of the hardware, but you could do a certain amount of speech, and there's definitely no excuse for it now. Right, what's this? Ooh. Sexy hand solo maneuver going on there, and again over here. Right. It is sort of, can I veer from the path? Oh, I can. Right. Nope. Wow. Never mind, please ignore that. Yeah, it is a really, really decent, healthy sort of polygon count. Like, very, very impressive. I can't fight for shit, apparently. Kind of reminds me of Iron Soldier on the Atari Jaguar, but obviously that was a system designed to do polygons, whereas this was a chipset in a cartridge. Or co-processor, I think was what it actually was. The controls are really tight, but you were totally on the money, Pete, when you said that firing is ever so slightly a little bit wonky. Are you a boss? I'm assuming you're a boss. That is really, really, really impressive, actually, I have to say. Right. I don't have to take the fighters out, or take... I'm assuming if it goes red, shoot it. Oh, no, the bomb. Do I have to keep up with him? That is very, ooh, saucy. Very, very impressive. It's hard to imagine because obviously this does predate sort of PlayStation 1 and true 3D graphics outside of the arcades, I should say, but it must be hard these days to kind of imagine the massive effect this had on people back then. I really need to concentrate more and talk less. I have another one. Ooh, that works. Yeah, I mean, Mode 7 is incredibly impressive, and still is. But it was, as I've mentioned before, sort of very flat 3D, so this must have just been utterly mind-blowing seeing this run on a sort of SNES, or sort of Super Famicom. I'm going to sound like a bit of an audio snob here, but I have to say that the sound effects for the enemy craft flying is kind of weak. It sounds like a fly stuck in your room in summer. constantly circling your light. We can't hold that against it for such a groundbreaking title. I got another nuke. I don't even know if I'm damaging. Oh, he does have a health bar. I should look at the top right of the corner of the screen more often. Have some of that. Oh no, that thrust. That's not the best idea. Rookie mistake right there. Come on, have another bomb. I haven't got any. Alright. I'll tell you what, it's getting a little bit frisky. Break. Ah! Weak point. Oh, monkey balls. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna call it quits there. Gotta say, yeah. Really, really impressive. Especially when you consider the hardware it's running on. You were right, Pete, the controls, they're pretty, they're pretty tight. I do like the fact that you got the bank, and then you got the left bank, and then you double tap, sorry, to do like a kind of roll. The Nova Bomb seemed a little bit clumsy for me, and the aiming was a little bit squiffy, but reasonably tight controls. Definitely one of the strongest aspects after the graphics. Graphics were absolutely fantastic, I mean, chip in the cartridge or not, this was, sort of effects that we would not see outside the arcade until we got to the PlayStation, so that was very, very impressive. I do like that. The draw distance wasn't great, but, look at me nitpicking. It's the Super Nintendo. Graphics are very reminiscent of Iron Soldier on the Atari Jaguar to me. That's the definite feel I get from it. Although, having said that, I guess they're technically more impressive on this because obviously it was never a system designed to do polygons. Alright, it had Mode 7, but that wasn't really sort of polygons, but the Atari system was. So the fact that they kind of remind me of that is, it's a bonus, it's a praise for this game indeed. The boss, the end boss, was utterly, utterly fantastic. That was truly, utterly, impressive. And also, as I previously mentioned, it does make me feel a little bit sad that I never sort of got to experience this in its true power or impression, or, that you would have got playing it originally in the heyday. So, points lost for Retro Echo Dave back then. But yeah, really, really good game. A great recommendation, Pete. Really good recommendation. I am going to cane through this. I might even consider picking up the 64 version for the 3DS. The only aspect to me that I thought was a little bit weak was the sound. Not entirely the game's fault. Some of it's sort of Nintendo's way of doing voices, like this squeaky bubblegum shit they do with sort of Zelda and this game series. I don't know, because they don't want to, I guess, have a sort of a human voice associated with the character, but I don't like that. When you're sort of in the thick of battle, I don't want to be reading subtitles underneath, a picture of a character. I want to know what they're saying. Kind of detracts from it when you're in the thick of it. But, that's just sort of a personal preference. Also, the music's epic. The music is really, really, really cool. The one thing I didn't like was some of the noises from the other sort of ships seem to sound like a little bit kind of, there's a fly trapped in my room and he's flying endlessly around my lampshade. But that might just be me sounding like a Sonic sort of anal whore. Anyway, yeah, great game, Pete. Very glad you recommended this to me. Very glad I finally sort of, pulled my thumb out my ass and actually played this. So yeah, thank you very much, mate. Now, everyone else, please, please, please go and check him out. As I said, in my friend list, in the doohickey down below. You could do a lot worse than to check out a solid community member than Pete. Now, I'd also, if anyone is sort of interested in being involved in these videos, by all means, send me a PM and we can talk. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you all for being so, supportive of this series of videos. I'll see you later.